Hello, this is Akiko Sudano at stampinginthemeadows.com in Downingtown, Pennsylvania. And thank you so much for joining me today. And let me just check and see if my follow on my computer here. I think I might have to. Oh, no. Let's see here. Where's my video? I don't see it yet. Hold on. Oh. Yeah. When you don't do this for a while and you get back, there's a couple of things that things are just a little, there we go, finally. Just things are a little slow and not quite on top of things. So I think I'm finally ready. Hi, Chi. Hi, Karen. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really, really appreciate it. Okay, so the weather here has started to get cold. It's not been freezing. We haven't had any frost, but it started to get cold so that we want to wear our jackets and stuff. And so I felt like, okay, this is perfect for a fall card. So the weather is perfect for that. So I'm making a fall card. And this is a kind of a fancy fold. This is one of those bookbinding cards that I guess this part by the hinge is kind of stuck together, so it only folds up like that, and that's really pretty for this stamp set, which is the Cottage Wreath stamp sets, because it tends to be a smaller wreath, and so you need to kind of give it a smaller frame in order to really appreciate the beauty of the stamp sets and the dies and everything, because they do tend to be on the smaller side, but that makes them pretty versatile as well. So this is the card that we're going to be making, and on the inside I stamped some leaves and then stamped one of the sentiments. I think for today's card I'm going to skip the inside sentiment, but I also used the designer series paper on the bottom here of the inside of the panel. Let me show you the stamp set, and this is the Cottage Wreath stamp set, and you've got two different kinds of wreaths that you can stamp, and then a whole bunch of different wreath dies. You've got dies that are going to cut out both of these wreaths, and then you've got different little things that you can decorate it for. You've got the little spider to decorate it with a Halloween theme, or a Merry Christmas for decorating it with, and some pine sprigs here as well to decorate it for a Christmas theme, and then also a Thanksgiving kind of theme with the grateful, and then the sentiments are I think are pretty too. So these are the stamps, and this is a photopolymer stamp set. And then these are the dies, and we're going to be using this die because we're going to stamp our wreath, and we're going to cut it out, and I think that's it. You've got the dies, the two sets of dies that cut out the just to make a plain die cut wreath, and these are the ones that I've used in the past. And then you've also got the I guess the stick wreath. So if you have, like, especially for a Halloween, if you want to cut out a twig wreath, then you've got that. And then you've got a pretty bow, and then I thought there was yes, there's another bow here that if you stamp the bow, you can cut that out as well. You've got different dies to cut out your stamped image, as well as dies to cut out your just regular die cut images, and that's what I've done today. I've used Cajun the Cajun Craze cardstock to cut out these dies, and then I used Mossy Meadow to cut out these dies, and I'll decorate my wreath with those. And I've already done that ahead of time. So let me go ahead and get started with the card. I'm going to move my inks aside here as I go ahead and get this started. finished card over here. And I've already cut, and the designer series paper that I'm using is the Happy Forest Friends designer series paper from the annual catalog. And this has got some pretty forest images and leaf images, which I think would be good for this time of year as well. But I just wanted kind of the graphic design of paper so that it's just kind of simple. And I have a 4.5 by 11 Sahara Sand card base, and I've scored it at 5.5 inches and then 6 3/4 of an inch right here. And this edge has already been burnished, and what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and apply liquid glue to this inside section, and this is going to make my book bind, I guess, section. Hi, Carol. Thank you so much for joining me. And I thought I saw Amy also join in. Thank you so much, both of you. Everyone, I really, really appreciate you supporting me and joining me with my videos today. Thank you so much. It's a busy time of year with fall starting up, and I'm sure there's a lot of folks that are starting to watch their football games and everything else. I'm really glad that for the fall cooler weather that we're having. And I have my designer series paper, and I'm going to, and this is cut, my Mossy Meadow mat is cut at 4 by 4, and my designer series paper is cut so that it's got an 1/8 of an inch border. So it's a 1/4 inch smaller than that. That doesn't sound right. I think it's an 1/8 of an inch. Yeah. So this is the mat is 4 by 4, and the designer series paper is 3 7/8 by 3 7/8. And in tomorrow's blog, I'll have all of my measurements with the close-up pictures of the cards, so that you can get the exact measurements, because I am sure I'm not going to get these right. So I put this one, and I'm going to put this one here, and I'm going to use this corner to see that it's kind of centered, and I think that looks good. And then I'm going to put a couple pieces right here too, and I'm using the same papers, and I'm going to adhere the designer series paper strip to the Mossy Meadow cardstock with liquid glue. And just kind of center it. What's really, really slippery. And then I'll just adhere it to this little section. Carol, that's too funny. Great minds think alike. This is perfect for, I think this fold is perfect for this stamp bundle. It's such a cute one. I love wreaths, and I love to make the wreath cards, so I always buy the wreath bundles when they come out, and this one is just perfect too. Okay, so I've got this one set up on the side here. Now I'm going to check my fold. So this will fold up like this, and that's good. So now I've got some of this old olive twill ribbon, and I'm going to put my bow on this side right here, and I'm going to get a little extra here. So, and I want to put the bow so that it's kind of towards the upper half of the card, but not really too far over. And I'm just going to cut this off. I just haven't measured it, but I just want to make sure that it's good. And hopefully I can make a nice bow with this one too. It's always easier, I think, if you just make a bow and then stick it on when you want to make a bow. But I think with this kind of a card, I want the ribbon to go all the way around into the back too. So you want to make it on the card here, and it's always a little bit harder for me to get it so that it's so that it's a pretty bow and that it's not floppy. Sometimes I think it's okay if it's a little floppy, but I think for this one, since I want to pull it, oops, this is the side I need to pull so that it really gets nice and tight there. But there we go. Now, so I'll make it nice and tight on the card, and then play with the loops a little bit so that it looks pretty. And let's see here. So you see, I wanted to have the ribbon go around the end there too, and check and see where I am. I think I'm going to make this loop a little bit shorter, and this one a little bit longer. Now, when I did my sample card, I think it's like my bow is upside down, so I decided I wanted to have my strings go more towards the hinge here as opposed to going towards the center of the card. I think this one I want to make just a smidge shorter, and then pull this. Yeah, I think that looks almost even. Just a little bit more, and then pull this tighter, and that'll lengthen these guys and tighten everything up. Okay, and then trim these ends. I want to trim it this way. Like that. Oh, there we go. And then I'm going to take just a little glue dot, and I'm going to slip it under the knot to help to keep this guy in place. There, that's good. Okay, all right. So then for the background here, what I did was I took another piece of Sahara Sand, and I embossed it with the leaf fall embossing folder. And here is the embossing folder. And what I tried to do is I tried to get this little section here where there's a lot of leaves, so that to try to cover the whole panel. So that's what I did, and I've already done that. And the mat here is 3x3, and the Sahara Sand embossed panel is 1/8 of an inch smaller on both sides. So I'll use my liquid glue, put this on, and I think this is such a pretty embossing folder. I love the leaves on it. I love the different kinds of leaves, and I love the way you've got like part of it embossed without any leaves. And so I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this on the card front, and I put this on with dimensionals. So I've got my little half dimensionals here, and do this right now, and then I can everything else I'm going to adhere with the liquid glue, so it'll be flat everywhere else. Just this little middle section will be sticking out. So I'll pull the covers off my dimensionals, and since this is a square, it'll go any which way. The design is kind of doesn't have an up and down. It's all over. And the same with the leaves. Just try to get it centered. Maybe a little bit on the high side. There we go. And that looks good. Okay, so this is all ready for the wreath and then the rest of the decorations. So with the wreath, I put this one down here, so I still have my sample one right here. I have the leaf with the leafy wreath, and this is really nice. I'm going to stamp this one in Mango Melody, and my Mango Melody stamp pad is nice and juicy. So I'm going to stamp it, and I've used a 3x3 basic white panel. Sorry about that. And so it's going to go on pretty nicely. There. And then I've seen other pictures, and I didn't do this with my sample card, but I'm going to go ahead and take the twiggy wreath, and I'm going to stamp that in soft suede over the leafy wreath. And there was a way to line them up, and I don't have that anymore in my head as to how I'm supposed to line these up. If you look on the the back of the thing here, you've got these little notches, and that's where they'll line up, and they'll actually also line up with notches on the dies. So that's what you can do, but I have completely lost the bubble as to where they are, but I think it's going to be fine. So I'm going to I should have maybe put some kind of dot on my stamp pad after I put it on, but I just kind of line them up, and that'll be fine. And then what I'll do is when I go to cut out my wreath, I will basically line the die up with the leafy wreath and ignore the other wreath. I think it's going to be fine. So I think is that going to line up? Yeah, I think that's the way I want to cut it out. So you have a nice little white border around the outside and then also on the inside. So I'm going to take this over to my die cutting machine right behind me, and I'm going to cut this out, and hopefully everything will be fine. Lining it up some more, making sure we're good. Yeah, good. So I'm going to crank this up now. I've generally found this leafy wreath to be very, very forgiving when you go to cut it out. So it'll be good. So here we go. And yeah, I think that came out good. And you can see that I've got some of the twiggy wreath that got cut off, but that's okay. So let's see here. Now what I did, and I'm going to adhere this guy. To me, the inside of the wreath kind of looks like a rectangle, and so when I've put this on, I basically put it on sort of with the longer side up and down. So I'll put it on just like this, and I will put it on with liquid glue. I'm just going to glue this on. It's easy that way. You can use glue dots if you want. You could use dimensionals if you want. I'm going to put extra glue on since I've got texture with the embossed background. Make sure that I've got places that are going to hold it nice. And stick my tweezers on. And just kind of get it so that it's kind of centered there. I don't know. What do you think about the twiggy wreath over stamping it? I think that adds a little something that I like that. With this stamp, you've got different shades of the Mango Melody color with the leaves. So leaves. So that that makes it nice anyway. All right. So next, I'm going to go ahead and put these leaves on the top, and these are the die cut leaves, and I'm going to adhere these with just liquid glue. I'm going to put 2 on each side of the top here, and just a little bit of liquid glue. Don't need a lot. And I'll put the Mossy Meadow leaves kind of on the bottom. Oops. There we go. Yeah, I should use my tweezer to place it kind of here. And then put the Cajun Craze leaves kind of on top. Oops. I'm really gushing out the glue here. Yeah, just kind of. There we go. That's fine. There. Okay. And then I've made another little bow, and I've used linen, the linen thread, and I just made a bow here, and I'll put this one on the top with a glue dot. Where's my glue dots? I had them right here. Here we go. So I'll take a glue dot and kind of roll it up. And I think the other side looks better, so I'll stick the glue dot on this side, and then stick it down right on the top here. And tuck everything in. Tuck the glue in. There. Okay. So the next thing that I did was I have now these little guys are just big enough. I think this this is embarrassing. I think that the size of this little this is so saffron. I think it looks real nice with the Mango Melody. But this is so saffron, and it's 7/16 of an inch by 1 3/4. But it's got a very, very tiny border around it, and this one is a 1/2 inch wide. So this is just like 1/16 of an inch shorter than that. And that's really, it's tough to get that 1/16 of an inch border for your mat, but I think it really looks nice that way. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on, and I'm just stamping the little grateful sentiment on that, and I'm stamping this in Cajun Craze, and hopefully I'm good here. And no, that's not good. That's a little crooked, so I'll try it on the other side. Hopefully this works to be a little bit more straight. I think if I line it up on my grid, it'll be easier to see. Yeah, that's good. So I have this stamped, and I'll put liquid glue on the back here. There we go. And just a teensy little bit of green around the border there. There we go. And then I'm gonna adhere this. I think I'm gonna just adhere this with liquid glue. Just a little bit on the center here. And I'm gonna put it on the side again, like this. And is that straight? I think we're good. There. Thank you, Carol. I think that this is such a great set, and I tell you, I really feel with it was very hot week before last and at the beginning of this week, and then suddenly it got really, really nice and cool, and it's like it was so welcome. So it's like, yes, I'm ready. I'm ready. So I'm going to use these wonderful amber faceted gems, and they are just so they're wonderful. So I'm going to put those around to decorate my wreath, and I'm going to put a bunch of them. And I'm using the smaller ones. That's 4, and I think I'll put one more on the top of the sentiment over here, so just to give it some sparkle. And I think, is that everything? That's everything. So okay, so the twigs or no twigs. I think I like it with the twigs. It does fill it up a little bit more. So let's work on the inside of the card. Now, for the inside, I have another sheet of 4x4 basic white designer series. No, not design. Basic white cardstock, and then I stamped some of the leaves in the corner here. So I've got that all set, and I'm going to get my scratch typing paper to go over it and move this away. And then I have the stamp, and you can see we've got 3 different leaves on this stamp, and I am going to start with the old olive stamp, and I'm going to just ink this bottom leaf in old olive and kind of stamp it like this in the top corner. And then I'm going to clean this off because my objective here is to have multiple colored leaves. So I'm going to clean that off with my chamois, and then I'm going to ink up the next leaf in Cajun Craze, and I'm just going to stamp over the same spot, but I don't have to worry about it because I've cleaned up the ink So there's my Cajun Craze, and I'll put the ink pad away. Put this ink pad away. I don't need this anymore. And pull out my Mango Melody, but I want to clean this off first because I just don't want to get it, I just don't want to have stray ink marks. But because these leaves are far enough away that it's fairly easy to ink them up one at a time like this. Okay, so I've got 3 of those, and then I'm going to get the little acorn and add some acorns. And I'm going to stamp the acorns in soft suede. One right here, and then one right here. There we go. I like this arrangement, I think. So I can pass on the second oak leaf. Now, one of the things that I wanted to show you, if you notice that you've got a lot of little dots, I guess. That's how they make it with the shading. And one of the things that I noted, especially with my drier ink pads, the Mango Melody is a pretty juicy ink pad, but with the especially with the little acorns, the ink pad was not as was a little drier. So I'm using the blender pen, and this is not the color lifter. This is just the blender pen, and I just kind of go around this section, and it just kind of moves the color, and it also makes it so that the lines, the little dots, not the lines, the little dots that they use for the different shading is not quite as noticeable. And I think what I'll do is I'll also do some of this on the green. And then I'll do a little bit on the Cajun Craze. And just kind of blends some of the dots out so that they're not, and gives it a little bit of a watercolor look. So just a little bit there. And I decided I was not going to put I'm going to skip the sentiment on this card, and I'm just going to write Happy Thanksgiving and use this as a Thanksgiving card. So that gives me more room for the handwritten greeting, and I'm going to adhere just the little strip of Designer Series paper to the bottom of the inside panel. And then adhere the panel to the inside of the card. I'm going to use Stamp and Seal. And I think that looks good. There. Okay, so there's my card for today. Thank you so much for joining me. And next weekend is going to be World Card Making Day, so I'll have a presentation on Saturday in the evening, and then also I'll be back on Sunday afternoon with another card. Thank you so much for joining me. Everybody have a great week, and we'll see you next weekend. Bye-bye.